Dad. So the Saints, made a couple moves, right? But unlike the Falcons, or unlike the Saints, the Falcons are not making any changes. Because why, Dad?
Because they suck and they like to suck. And they
Yeah,
always will suck.
pretty much. But so yeah, we're gonna get into this won't be a long show. We're just gonna be on here for a bit. But so Dad, the NFLPA came out with their report cards, and I wrote down every single Saints report card. Do you want to know what they are?
What are they?
So the Saints had the 19th best report card in the NFL. Their treatment of families was a B plus, tied for fifth. Their food service slash nutrition was an F minus, which is tied for 30th, tied for last. How? Dude, is this why we suck so bad?
That explains it. Zion must be hanging out over there with those players. Eating bad nutrition, stuff, drinking those sugary sodas. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Like we're tied for last, and we are talking about the New Orleans Saints, not the California Saints. We're talking not the Los Angeles Saints. We're talking about a place that is known for the food. Whenever you ask anybody about New Orleans, the first thing that they'll say is food. Not to the Saints, bro. Are you
Their
kidding?
food, the we have the food, but it's fattening. That's why we last because they're saying our nutrition that's come from the food is last in the league.
Yeah, but I don't understand how the Saints do that, but. Back to some positives. Weight room, we got an A minus, tied for ninth. Not bad. Strength coaches, we got an A, tied for 10th. I mean, we do have some strong players. Just ask Demario Davis. So that makes sense. All right, our training room, we got a B, tied for 8th. That's cool. Training staff, we got an A minus, tied for 15th. So a lot of good training staffs in the NFL. The locker room, we got an A, which yeah, an A, which is top of fifth, which don't make no damn sense. Team travel, we got an A plus, tied for first. So, how does that report card shape out to you?
Who who goes around giving these report cards is what I want to know.
I don't know.
Training staff. You know what training staff is, right, Mikey? That's to fix up the hurt players to get them back on the field. Andrews Pete, come on now. Um, Marshall and Lattimore, Naku Thomas. These people are always hurt. Why is our training staff an A?
Yeah, I want to know why our locker room's an A. After what Dennis Allen did in Week 18, dude, honestly, giving us a D minus in locker room would have been generous. An
You know,
A?
you know what, Mikey? Whatever you got over there, just tear it up and throw it away. Because that that is some ridiculous scoring, stuff. I don't know what else to say. I don't think we should
Yeah,
waste any more time on it.
yeah.
What else you got over there?
So now let's talk about some basketball for a bit. So the Pelicans, who are now the fifth seed in the West. All right. They if the season was to end today, we would try. Well, we would play the Clippers in a 7-game series, and the Clippers would have home court advantage. Um, but if the Pelicans ever have to play the reigning, defending NBA champions Denver Nuggets, would you rather take your chances on them or take your chances in the play tournament?
I definitely want to be out that playing tournament because anything could happen in there. And as long as I know I'm getting at least 4 games against these dudes to show what I got and to win a few games, I'd rather take that.
Yeah, because look, I respect opinions, but if you're saying that you would rather take the playing tournament, that's so say this right. So you're up for the lottery, right? And you are broke, you need this money, but it's like a 1% chance of you winning. Are you not gonna take it? Like, you have to at least take a chance, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't really bite you. you're just gonna live your normal life. So that's basically what the Pelicans are if they just take their chances in the play-in tournament. Because like if you lose, then it depends on which play-in tournament seed that they're in. But if you lose and you're out, I mean, you kind of did that to yourself. Um. So yeah. But now I have a question for you. Um. When do you feel like age becomes a problem in the NFL?
Age, it depends on what position we're talking about.
Yeah, I agree. Cause like there's lots of people who say that when you're like 30, 32, like look, I feel like if you're a kicker, I feel like if you're a kicker, then you have all the longevity that you need. But at the same time, like age, I feel like becomes a problem whenever you become a problem. I feel like when you start getting up there in age, and that could be 32, 35, that could be 28 for all we care. So I feel like age becomes a problem around that 31 mark because that's when players start progressing. For example, Mike Evans, man, he's still balling at the age of 31. That he got a contract extension, and but you see guys like you see guys like Derrick Henry. I don't even think he's 30 yet, and yet the Titans thinking about giving him up because he's a running back. Saquon Barkley. So yeah, there's different positional value when it comes to age. I just wanted to get your opinion, but do you think Ryan Ramczyk is healthy?
No, I think I've heard enough, behind the scenes things where he may be a little hurt than we think he is. Um, I think he's got a knee issue, so I don't know. He's definitely not 100%. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think he's healthy. Like we saw it, even when he was healthy last season, he still was regressing. So I mean, there was a time I thought he was the best right tackle in the NFL, and there was a time that there was no argument. But not anymore. I don't know what happened to him. Like, especially that Green Bay game, you got your starting quarterback hurt. I mean, Ryan Ramczyk,
Yes,
I
he
think,
did. He threw that lookout
yeah.
block, Mikey. You know what
What?
that is? The lookout block. You know what that is? Hello? You're stuck, Mikey.
All right,
Okay,
we're
there we
back.
go. He
All
he
right,
threw
so what's the
that
lookup for?
he threw that lookout block in the Green Bay game. You know what that is?
What is that?
That's when you miss a block and you yell, "Look out!
Um,
Lookout block!"
yeah. Um. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think Ramchick, even if he was healthy, I still would be cautious about him. Because, like, for example, we just talked about age. I feel like offensive linemen, especially offensive linemen, they get hindered by age a lot. Because, like, you're going up against some of these young, you're going up against some young, inexperienced defensive linemen. For example, Jason Kelsey just retired today, and that man's like, what, 33? So like offensive lineman, takes a toll on your body a whole lot. So yeah. Um, do you think Jameis Winston will be in the Saints uniform next year?
I don't think so. I think he knows this is Derek Carr's team right now, and I think he wants to still be a starting quarterback. And I also think him and Dennis Allen kind of butted heads that last game, and I don't think that's fixable.
Yeah, I mean,
When you lose respect for each other like that, I don't think that's fixable.
yeah. I don't think like I would love James to come back. He is the funniest dude in football history. But I mean, like you said, like that week 18 game, I think if the Saints were to bring him back, I think it would be a miracle. I won't be shocked if we bring him back, but I think they're gonna want to give Jake Haener a shot. Plus, there's some quarterbacks coming out of this draft that have more potential than James as a backup. So I don't think James is coming back, but if he does, cool. But speaking of starting, do you think Trevor Penning is a starter in this league?
No,
Doesn't matter if he plays with the Saints. Does any of the 32 teams?
not as a tackle, and then as a guard, he still has to get stronger. And because he didn't see no good competition in college, and when he did see some in the pros, he, right now he looks like a bust, a first round bust.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
he's a
remember when we
Kenny though.
drafted him. I remember when we drafted him, we thought we were getting the best left tackle in college football, but no, we saw how that went. We gave him a chance. We tried to make it work, and then we just benched him. I feel like when he got injured in that preseason game against the Chargers, that he was never the same after that. Um, yeah. Um, but now let's get into some not really breaking news now, but some news came out last Friday, I believe, or Saturday. It was one of them. The New Orleans Saints are moving on from safety Marcus May. They are releasing him. He is set to be a free agent. How do you feel about the news?
Well, I think it's time for us to move on from Marcus May. I mean, I'm tired of seeing this dude miss tackles. So I can see where Loomis and Allen think they need an upgrade there. So it's good. I think Hardy is up for that spot, and I like Hardy.
You
He
mean
showed
Howden?
Howden. He showed some flashes, so I'll be interested to see how he works out.
Yeah, look, I liked Marcus May. Well, I feel like he had great coverage skills, and I feel like he could take away the middle of the field. But like you said, he wasn't like nobody on the team was the best tackler. Like you got Tyrann Mathieu taking bad angles. We cut Bradley Roby because he straightly couldn't tackle. Who else did we have? Like Demario Davis, a certified bucket every time. When he steps on that field. But like Cameron Jordan, he used to be the best run stopping defensive end in the National Football League, but he's getting up there in age. And Lattimore, he was basically a coverage skill. So when you think about a Saints defensive player, you don't think about tackling. You think about coverage skills and nothing else. And that's why the Saints defense regressed last season. And I know people are going to say, but Dennis Allen was the best defensive coach in the football because of stats and stuff. We weren't playing nobody, bro. We were playing who? Bryce Young, Joshua Dobbs, Tommy DeVito. No, and plus we lost to some backup quarterbacks, bro. So you cannot tell me the Saints had a great defense last season when we're letting Joshua Dobbs do everything on you. And I know shut him down in the second half, but when we have to get credit for shutting him down in the second half, that's something bad. I wanted to shut him down from the kickoff to the final kneel down or whatever. Like, why are we? So, look, I don't trust this defense. Look, ever since whenever we played the Colts last season, I believe it was week 7, I said the Saints defense was not what it once was. People called me crazy, but at the same time, you got to look at it, bro. This defense is old, and that's why we cut Marcus May, because we need some young youth in the building. That's why we drafted Jordan Howden last year, and I really think Jordan Howden can be some in this league. We just gotta wait. I think give him a couple years, and he may be the starting safety on this team. Shoot, he might take that role next season, but we'll have to see. But do you want to know the last time Saints had a top 5 pick? Do you want to know when that was?
Last time that a top 5 pick, that was Reggie Bush.
Yep. In 2006, the Saints had a top 5 pick taking Reggie Bush. That should prove something. The Saints are not going to be bad enough to get a top 5 pick, but they're not going to be good enough to make the playoffs. Because like the Saints, like they're good enough to not tank, but they're bad enough to make the playoffs. It's
Last
always gonna be
time,
that mid-range thing.
last time we had a top 5 pick, we picked Reggie Bush. That was coming off a season. We went 3-13, and we played our home games in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Yep. So the Saints, like, they're not gonna be bad enough to get a top 5 pick, but they're not gonna be good enough to make the playoffs. So the Saints are in purgatory. They're not in rock bottom. Rock bottom is where the Falcons are. Rock bottom is where the Panthers are. The Saints are in certified hell and purgatory at the same time. So, like, yeah. But I was gonna play the Jane Daniels interview, but this stupid computer won't work, so unfortunately we're gonna have to skip that. But who do you think? And this is just speculation. Who do you see the Saints drafting if a guy like, let's say, Brock Bowers is gone? Who do you see a player that the Saints take?
I wish you didn't bring up Brock Bowers because I was going to say Brock Bowers, come on and fall down to us. But I don't know, Mike. I don't have a good feeling about this crop that's going to be in the teams. So we'll just have to see. I don't know. What do you think?
I say, and I stick with this. I'm still going with my boy Zerhan Newton. Like, everybody's projecting us to take him. He is literally the 14th best player in the draft. The Saints didn't even have this pick, and yet people still thought Newton was going at 14. So this, I feel like, is the pick. We need some defensive line help, especially in the nose tackle. Defensive tackle, we need something like that. And Zeron Newton is athletic. He's coming off of his best year at in college. So I say pick him. And if he doesn't work, well then oh well. But if he
Mikey,
works, yeah.
Who is the guy that I don't know if you was watching the combine, but he was a tight end. He might have been Brock Bowers. He was doing his drill. He caught one ball, one hand, and boom, there's another one. Caught the other one with the other hand. Who was
Oh, I
that?
didn't see the combine.
Okay.
I was pretty busy this weekend.
I just saw that and I was like, whoever that is, we need to scoop him up. He's got some good hands. I gotta YouTube and see who that was. Might have been Brock Bowers.
Yeah. So let's see. So do you think the Saints should trade down in the draft?
I think so. I think we should trade down. And there's all kind of talk about defensive line, offensive line, but I'm an offensive dude. I want some weapons. I want a tight end that can catch. I want another receiver. I want another running back. I mean, we're getting old in the running back. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I made a video on this. I won't trade down if I'm the Saints, but that depends on who's available. Like if Zeron Newton, Brock Bowers, like one of the receivers, if like those players are gone, sure, let's trade down. Let's get some draft capital. Maybe get some draft capital for next year. But like, if we trade down for an offensive lineman, then I'm gonna be screaming and say, "Why did you trade down? We should have just drafted somebody then." Because like I know we need offensive linemen, but down for an offensive lineman, that's kind of pointless. Like you're not like there's no Trent Williams in the draft where you just trade down and now he's the best offensive lineman of all time. So I mean, I wouldn't trade down, but that depends on who's available. For example, the draft ain't till the end of April, so I don't know who's gonna be available. I don't even know who's gonna be. But how do you think the Saints can be fixed?
To fix the Saints, you got to fix the offensive line. Got to get some people to stay healthy. Alvin Kamara, Andrus Peat, if he's even on the team. Cam Jordan. I mean, I hear this and that about Cam Jordan saying that he played all year last year injured. That's why he didn't sack the quarterback. I don't know. Well, if that's the case, stop playing around and get healthy. And Marshawn Lattimore, I mean, you always hurt. I mean, you're hell when you're well, but you always hurt. And now Mike Evans got that big contract, and you Mike Evans' daddy. So we need you on that field to show your son that he don't got it. Not when he plays the Saints. No, come on, show him you're his daddy. Booyah.
Yeah. I personally don't think that there's any fixing for the Saints. I don't. Like I
No
said,
fixing? Damn. No
Yeah.
fixing?
I don't look. As long as Dennis Allen is our head coach, there is no fixing. Like you can get a great quarterback, you can get a great receiving core, you can even get a great defense once again. But if Dennis Allen, who is a lieutenant, not a general, if you keep Denise motherfucking Allen as your HC for the remaining future, you're not gonna win much. So there is no fixing. Like you can have the best offensive line in the NFL. There is no fixing the Saints. We're still gonna get outscored. We're still gonna not put up numbers in the red zone. We're still not gonna put up most points. You're still going to miss field goals. There is no fixing with the Saints. And I'm sorry, as much as I was high on this team, there is no fixing. You're going to catch me saying that we're going to do well because I'm a Saints fan. Like I want to do well. I don't root for us to tank like a lot of fans were doing last year. I don't root for us to tank, because who said that a top pick would be great? Like, you thought that the Raiders, when they changed for Jamarcus Russell, you thought that they felt good after selecting him? That man hated football with a passion. When the Cardinals tanked for Josh Rosen, you didn't see them celebrating after a year. They got rid of him after a year. So, I mean, there is no fixing the Saints. I'm sorry. When Dennis Allen is no longer our coach, then we can talk. But as long as he's still wearing that Saints hat in our front office, on the sidelines, on the field, there's no fixing. I'm sorry. That's just the harsh reality of the truth.
Dennis
So
Allen is going to be the HC forever.
Well, then there's no fixing the Saints forever.
I mean, he must have something on Mickey Loomis. He must have some pictures on him or something because he loves him some Dennis Allen, and he will not fire Denise Allen at all.
Yeah, but speaking of Cam Jordan, he stated, and this is a real quote, he said, the Saints, and this was at the Combine, he said, the Saints are in a win-now mindset. And I'm sorry, Cam, I know you're not going to admit to us not being in win-now mode because you're obviously a player for this team, but we are not. Look, we thought that it was proven last year that the Saints are in a long awakening call. The Saints are in a long rude awakening. The Saints are not in a win-now mode. I don't care if you draft Jaden Daniels. I don't care if you draft Brock Bowers. Like, yeah, we got an extra highlight or two, but it's not gonna result in wins. So the Saints are not in a win-now mode. Like, as much as I feel like the reason that a lot of the players are still on this team is because they state that they're in a win-now mode. But I mean, at the same time, like, the Saints aren't. Clearly, they have an aging quarterback who's coming off one of his worst seasons since he got drafted. You have a running back room, which is so-so. You got receivers. I mean, Chris Olave, he's a beast, but Michael Thomas, he's not going to be on the team. Rashid Shaheed, he's still developing. So, but I don't think he's going to be a number 2 receiver on a Super Bowl team. And Juwan Johnson, I mean, he should be replaced. I remember a lot of people were going crazy after he led our team in touchdowns. He wasn't saying much. Hey, Jay. But the Saints are not in a win-now mode, Cam. I'm sorry. I love you, Cam, but the Saints, like, their defense is pretty old, and I know you're a part of that defense. The Saints are not in a win-now mode. There's no fixing the Saints. As long as Dennis Allen, and I repeat, as long as Dennis Allen is your head coach, still wearing the hat, the Saints are not going anywhere. But like I said, the Saints are always going to be in the playoff hunt, but they're never going to actually make it. And even if they do make it, they're not going to win. I'm sorry. But last thing before we head out of here, LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels. So, do you think before you answer, do you think the Bears are best for success for Jaden Daniels? And before you answer, I'm gonna give you this fact: since 1936, only 14 number one overall picks are in the Hall of Fame today. So, after hearing that fact, do you think Jaden Daniels is the best fit for Chicago?
No. No. I mean, Chicago couldn't deal with Fields. I mean, if they can't deal with, and this is a similar type of quarterback. So, Jaden Daniels need to strike. Need to say, I'm not going to Chicago. Nope, ain't doing it. Not going.
Yeah.
Not going to
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah, I
Jaden
don't like
Daniels
how the Bears are running things.
Jaden Daniels should do what Eli Manning did. Say, nope, not going to Chicago. I want to go to New Orleans right now. And then, be done with it.
Well, like I said, even if he says he's going to New Orleans, the Saints are still not a best. I don't think the Saints are any better than Chicago when it comes to fitting, like I said. But I don't think Chicago's the best fit because they're trying to get rid of Justin Fields as deserved, because Justin Fields is one of the worst quarterbacks in football, and I stand by that. But Jaden Daniels, I like him. I think the Patriots are a good fit. I think Washington's a good fit. You can argue maybe the Giants, but yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up here, folks. I got stuff to do tonight, so we're gonna cut the show a little bit early. Dad, where can they find you?
You can find me on Warren Newby on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find me.
Shut up and go comb your hair.
All right. Well, you can find me here on Hurricane Mike, and you can also find me on New Orleans Saints Master Streams, where I stream interviews and games. Well, I just had an interview with Kyle literally a week ago, so you can go check that out. I put a link in my community tab, so you can go check that out. But yeah, that's gonna do it here, folks. We'll see you next. Well, I'll see you probably tomorrow, but we'll see you next week. And Dad, what is it always?
It's always who that time, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who that all the way to somewhere.
17-0, baby. Next shit, 17-0.
Okay, sir.